When I was 23, I had almost nothing. No savings. No decent job. Some days, I had to choose between buying lunch or paying for the bus ride home. Looking back now, those were hard years. But they also taught me something I never forgot. Kindness doesn't cost much. And sometimes, it comes back when you least expect it. It happened on a freezing winter evening. I had just finished a 12-hour shift unloading delivery trucks at the train station. My hands were numb. My back hurt. All I wanted was to get home and sleep. As I walked toward the platform, I noticed an elderly man sitting alone on a wooden bench. He looked completely lost. His coat was thin. His shoes were covered in snow. People walked past him without even slowing down. Some didn't even look in his direction. At first, I kept walking too. Then something made me stop. I turned around. The old man wasn't asking anyone for money. He wasn't begging. He was simply staring at the ground. I walked over. "Sir, are you all right?" He slowly looked up. His eyes were red. Not from the cold. From crying. "My wallet is gone," he whispered. "My ticket, my documents, everything. I don't even have enough money to call my daughter." I believed him immediately. Maybe it was the way he spoke. Maybe it was because he looked more embarrassed than desperate. He kept apologizing. "I'm sorry for bothering you. I'll figure something out." But I knew he wouldn't. Not that night. I reached into my pocket. I counted what I had. Just enough money for my bus ride home. And a cheap dinner. If I helped him, I'd have to walk nearly 2 hours through the snow. For a moment, I hesitated. Then I smiled. "Come on. Let's buy you a ticket." The old man's eyes filled with tears. "No, I can't let you do that." "You can. And someday, if life gives you the chance, help someone else." We walked together to the ticket counter. I bought him the last train ticket to his hometown. With my few remaining coins, I bought him a hot bowl of soup and a cup of coffee. He ate slowly, as if he hadn't eaten all day. Before boarding the train, he shook my hand with surprising strength. "I don't know your name." "My name's Ben." He nodded. "I'll never forget it." Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a small silver coin. It looked old, worn smooth with time. "I want you to keep this." I laughed. "I can't take your money. It's not money. It's a reminder." "A reminder of what?" He smiled. "That kindness always finds its way home." The train doors closed. He waved through the window and disappeared into the night. To be honest, I forgot about him. Life moved on. I got married, started a family, worked hard, lost people I loved, celebrated birthdays, made mistakes. 30 years passed. One evening, my wife insisted we celebrate our anniversary somewhere special. For the first time in years, we booked a table at one of the nicest restaurants in the city. Everything was perfect. The food, the music, the atmosphere. We laughed about old memories. It was one of those rare evenings you wish could last forever. Finally, I asked the waiter for the bill. He looked confused. "I'm sorry, sir. Your dinner has already been paid for." I smiled. "There must be a mistake." "There isn't." The waiter handed me a folded white napkin. "It's been waiting for you." I slowly opened it. Inside, there was only one sentence. "Kindness always finds its way home." My heart stopped. Those exact words. After 30 years, I looked around the restaurant. Every table, every face. Nothing. Then I noticed something else inside the napkin. The same silver coin. The one the old man had given me decades earlier. I knew. Without a doubt, it was his. I had lost it years ago during a move. Or at least, I thought I had. The waiter returned. There was also a letter. He handed me a sealed envelope. On the front, my name was written by hand. The handwriting looked strangely familiar. I opened it carefully. Inside was a short message. "Dear Ben, if you're reading this, then I kept my promise. 30 years ago, you helped a stranger when nobody else would. You never asked for my name. You never expected anything in return. That day changed my life." I kept reading. When I got home, my daughter convinced me not to give up. Together, we rebuilt our family business. Years later, it became more successful than I ever imagined. I swallowed hard. I searched for you for many years. Not to repay a debt, but to thank the man who reminded me that humanity still existed. My eyes began to fill with tears. The final lines read, "This dinner is only a symbol. The real gift is waiting outside." I looked at my wife. Neither of us said a word. We hurried toward the entrance. Parked in front of the restaurant was a black vintage car. Standing beside it was a young woman. She smiled warmly. "You must be Ben." "Yes. My grandfather passed away 3 weeks ago." My heart sank. He asked me to find you. She handed me a small wooden box. Inside was another letter and an old photograph. It showed the elderly man standing beside a little girl. She was no older than 6. The woman smiled. That's me. He talked about you every Christmas. He called you the man who saved our family. I looked at her in disbelief. I only bought him a train ticket. She shook her head. No, you gave him hope. If he hadn't made it home that night, he would have never seen his daughter again. She paused for a moment, then added quietly, and I would never have been born. Neither of us spoke. The city lights reflected in the wet pavement. The cold winter air felt strangely warm. Before leaving, she handed me one final envelope. Inside was a donation receipt. The old man had created a charity in my name. Every year, it paid for train tickets, meals, and emergency travel for strangers who couldn't afford to get home. Thousands of people had already been helped. At the bottom was a handwritten note. The kindness you gave one person eventually reached thousands. I stood there for a long time, looking at that piece of paper, thinking about one simple decision I almost didn't make. I thought I had bought an old man a ticket home. Instead, I had unknowingly changed generations of lives. And that's when I finally understood something. The greatest rewards in life rarely arrive the next day. Sometimes they're 30 years late. But when they finally come, they're worth every second of the wait. For several minutes, I couldn't say a single word. The young woman stood quietly beside me, as if she understood that my mind was somewhere 30 years in the past. Finally, I asked the question that had been haunting me ever since I read the letter. What was your grandfather's name? She smiled. I wondered when you'd ask. His name was Arthur. The name meant nothing to me. I searched my memory again and again. Nothing. I'm sorry, I admitted. I don't remember him. She nodded. He knew you wouldn't. My grandfather always said that's what made your kindness special. You helped a complete stranger. Not because you knew him, but because he needed help. She opened the wooden box once more. There was one more thing. Inside was a small brass key. Attached to it was a tag. Deposit Box 214. I looked at her. What's inside? She shrugged. He never told me. He only said, if Ben ever comes, he'll know what to do. The next morning, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Against all logic, I drove to the old downtown bank. The building looked almost unchanged. Marble floors, tall windows, the smell of polished wood. An elderly bank manager greeted me politely. I believe someone left something for me. I showed him the key. The moment he saw the number, his expression changed. Please wait here. He disappeared into a back room. Several minutes later, he returned carrying a small metal box. It was covered in dust. This has been here for 28 years. No one has ever claimed it. My hands trembled as I unlocked it. Inside, there wasn't any money, no jewelry, no expensive watches, only a leather notebook, and dozens of unopened envelopes. Every envelope had a different name written on it. I looked at the manager. What is all this? He smiled. I think your friend wanted you to find out. I opened the notebook. The first page read, if you're reading this, then I finally found you. Below that, Arthur had written something that completely changed the way I saw the past. He confessed that the night I met him, he hadn't actually lost his wallet. He had lost something much more dangerous. Hope. His business had collapsed. His wife had recently passed away. He had planned to board that train, return home, and end his life. Then he met me, a young man with almost no money, who still chose to help someone else. Arthur wrote, that night, I realized that if someone with nothing could still be generous, then I had no excuse to give up. I had to stop reading. My vision blurred. I looked out the bank window for a moment before continuing. The next pages described everything that happened afterward. How he rebuilt his company, how he created jobs, how he funded scholarships, how he quietly paid hospital bills for families who couldn't afford treatment. Every success, every good deed, he traced back to one simple moment. One train ticket, one bowl of soup, one stranger who cared. Then I noticed something unusual. Every envelope in the box had a year written in the corner. One envelope was marked 2026. It was the only one addressed to me. I slowly opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter. Only one sentence. If you're reading this, someone else needs you today, just as I once did. I frowned. That was it. No explanation. No instructions. Just those words. I almost laughed. After everything that had happened, That couldn't possibly be the ending. Or could it? As I left the bank, still holding the letter in my hand, I noticed a young man sitting alone on the steps outside. His head was down. His backpack rested beside him. People walked past without looking. Then he quietly asked the crowd, "Excuse me, can anyone help me get home?" No one stopped. Not one person. I looked down at the letter again, then at the young man, and suddenly, I smiled. Maybe Arthur had known exactly how this story would end.